Good afternoon, and welcome to Freedom's 51st commencement ceremony. My name is Mike Riley. I'm an interim counselor for Freedom High School. Our graduates have worked very hard to be here to celebrate this day. To honor them, we ask that you refrain from yelling excessively so that we may hear every name that is called. Please stand and remain standing while the graduates process in and even while we play the national anthem. So please process in. Graduates and guests, you may be seated. Thank you again for being here to celebrate with us. In addition to the hard work and support offered by family and friends, there are several people who work behind the scenes in order to support our students' quest for a high school diploma. As I call out the name of our honors guests, please hold your applause until everyone's name has been called. Guests, please stand and be recognized when your name is called. Board of Education member, Mrs. Barbara Peterson. Part of the APS leadership team, Mr. Mark Garcia, Executive Director of the Office of Innovation, and our principal, Mrs. Esther Keaton. Here today as part of the Freedom High School faculty and staff, Ms. Tina Luck, Ms. Ashley Leatherman, Ms. Joan Leba, Ms. Christina Gonzalez, Ms. Patricia Gonzalez, Mr. Mike Guffey, Ms. Nissa Martinez, Mr. Freddie Misquez, Mr. Cole Monaco, Ms. Anita Montano, Ms. Deidre Mallon, Ms. Jessica Netzel, Ms. Ann Raymond, Mr. Robert Reyes, Mr. Art Rios, Ms. Marcy Sanders, Mr. Seth Shapiro, Ms. Amanda Shaw, Ms. Erica Soskin, Mr. Manuel Solano, and Ms. Teresa Wright. And now, our principal, Mrs. Esther Keaton.
Hello and welcome. Every year, we highlight the art that our students produce and incorporate the art into the theme of our graduation ceremonies. In the past, the themes have centered on trees growing and spreading their branches. The video you saw a few minutes ago that illustrates the journey that brought our students to the stage at this moment. And this year was defined by our yearbook class taught by Therese Wright in the theme of the 2022 yearbook, Connections. As people around the world work to re-engage and create a new normal, our students have been connecting with their communities. Over the course of the year, as we were faced with obstacles, this group stood together to support each other and confront the problems head on. They learned to pace themselves and to accept the fact that the harder they work, the luckier they got. Students in the PAC, the Principal's Advisory Committee, elected to have activities that brought our students together through door decorating contests, the Fall Festival, prom, and attendance competitions between advisories. Our teachers sponsored lunchtime activities through the GSA, the Gay Straight Alliance, old school board games, esports, the Arm Wrestling Club, and the BSU, the Black Student Union. Our seniors served as leaders in the school by encouraging and engaging the younger students. Seniors, as we celebrate your successful completion of this stage in your life, take a moment and look around at the connections that you've made. Every person in the auditorium today had a hand in helping you become the person that you are right now. On behalf of the staff, thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey and helping you to build the connections for your future. And now to tell us the story of his journey, please welcome Aaron Henderson, the recipient of the Keith A. Wagner Scholarship.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the best at public speaking, so please bear with me through all the ums, sniffles, and the little bit of tears that may come out. Thank you to all the Freedom staff and faculty for guiding us and to getting us to this point and working so hard. I remember all the way back in elementary school when I would dream of the day of starting high school, being able to make tons of friends, join clubs, get in any drama, and just have an overall great experience, and then be able to graduate. However, growing up, I had problems in both school and at home. And I guess since I was young, I never really processed it thoroughly. I got through elementary school and I was ready to start middle school. I thought to myself constantly that this was my time to blossom and make more friends and be able to discover myself. Little did I know that middle school also brought upon the most frightening and depressing years of my life. Problems at home started increasing, and it became harder to just brush them off during the day. For the first time, I started falling behind in my classes, which was a big thing for me because I had always been a gifted child. I tried my best to keep up, yet my grades slipped to C's and D's, and I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. I just couldn't bring myself to do my schoolwork. Deep down, it felt easier to let it all slip away rather than have to deal with it. At the beginning of February 2017, I met with having to wave goodbye to my mother as she rode in the back of an ambulance. She was having a massive heart attack and only had moments before it became fatal. Having to see her balance between life and death was detrimental to all of us. After trying to find some sort of escape at school, another problem arose. I showed up expecting a normal day, yet I saw balloons tied across the trees across campus. I thought it was somebody's birthday and just could not remember who it was, so I asked around trying to figure out who it was. Soon, I was hit with the truth and my world was absolutely crushed. One of my best friends took their life and I knew absolutely nothing about it. Someone that I had hopes of having in my life, even here at graduation, was no longer here. And I was livid, distraught, and just overall confused. Mountains and mountains of grief came crashing in, and school became my absolute last priority. And because life just couldn't get any better, my dad decided to kick me and my family out, and 2 months before school ended. Living with my auntie and uncle in Rio Rancho, we now enter 2 weeks of waking up at 5 in the morning, packing everything we needed into the car, and not coming home until 11 or 12 that night. This lasted for what felt like an eternity, but the end of the school year came to an end, and this was a way of closing the door on all the trauma and be able to start a new start in high school. Shortly later in July, we moved out of my auntie's house into our new house, and everything started feeling like it was returning to a normal state. High school started, and home life started feeling less chaotic. At the time, my biggest worries were my dad and my grandma. With my grandma having to deal with cancer and us having to go help her every single day, and also being separated and having such a rocky relationship with my father, everything was just kind of a blur at the moment. But I still remember the sound of my grandpa knocking at the door, the gentle knocks turning into solid thumps. I heard him and my mom whispering, trying not to wake us at all. But through the sobbing and her trying to grasp the situation, I heard everything. That night, my grandma had passed, and that was a huge surprise. It wasn't much of a surprise, but it was a huge surprise to all of us still, as she was the one who kept us all together from ever since the day I was born. No matter if it was financial or emotional or any sort of support, my grandma was the one who would be responsible for it. Shortly after, I was met with police sitting with my brother on the couch. Instantly, I was scared of one of us being in trouble, but I knew that it really wasn't that much. I sat down with him, and he was the one that told me that my father had also passed. One of the most difficult weeks had become one of the most difficult times of my life. And this was one of the most difficult deaths I have to experience. Of course, he was my father, and I know I'm supposed to love him for that. However, there were many times in my head where I thought he couldn't have been my father if he treated me like this. From there, I had to just keep going on to school and pretending like everything was okay, which only worked for a year or so. I stopped doing homework and solely relied on schoolwork to get me a good grade, which slowly became me only turning in work every now and then. I started failing more and more classes only because I didn't want to do the work. I knew what I should have been doing. I knew how to do it. I could not bring myself to just finish. So come 2020, when the pandemic hit, this was the moment I fully isolated myself from both my friends and my family. When online classes came about, there was only a few that I would go to here and there, but eventually I became too anxious to face my teachers as to why I wasn't showing up or why I wasn't doing my work, and eventually I just stopped showing up entirely. This caused me to miss my graduation last year, but at the time, I wasn't angry or upset. I just really wanted to get out of high school. I really wanted to leave all the pain behind and definitely get a new start and just get my GED and call it done. Deep down in my heart, though, it hurt so much knowing that I messed up so bad and now I could not turn back. Knowing that everybody else around me was able to go on, but yet I wasn't able to bring myself together was the hardest realizations I had to face. But eventually, during the summer, my mom talked to me about joining Freedom High School. She told me about all the great opportunities I would get to be able to graduate and to get all my credits and be able to have a normal and better high school experience. She wanted this to be my fresh start, knowing that deep down I did want to graduate, but I was just too nervous to ever get that new start. But because knowing that my brother was going to be going as well, I took this opportunity to take it as the new start and be able to, anyways. The moment I got there at Freedom, it was such a fresh breath of air. Being able to be with other students and as well as seeing teachers again and being able to be in class in person was something that I definitely needed. Even though I still don't kind of like school, I feel like that's everybody, the nostalgia definitely made up for it. And for what seemed like forever, I managed to maintain a GPA above a 3.0 and managed to stay in all of my classes. And even though it felt like everything was just starting, now the school year is quickly coming to an end, and now we're here at graduation. I couldn't be any more excited, nervous, and a little upset. I know that if I were up here talking to 5-year-old me, he would be a little upset that I didn't graduate on time. Part of that is because I still wanted to be 17 and brag about being the youngest person to graduate in my class. But the one thing I did need to do was be up on this stage and be able to close this door to every single challenge that I have faced in my life. I'd also like to thank, again, the Freedom staff and faculty for helping me push myself further and telling me that I'm capable to do anything that I'd like if I put my mind to it and if I work hard. I'd also like to thank my family for always being there to pester me and to bother me about doing my school, getting to classes. I'd like to thank my 2 amazing friends, Eileen and Kiara, keeping me together during this time. And special thanks to my mother for, for being the one person who taught me that through hardship, there's always a way out. And the one thing that we can learn from her is no matter what, is to be strong, stay strong. Thank you.
Just to let you know, he had a 4.0 while he was here at Freedom. Graduates, as you move into your lives and expand your connections, we wish you 3 things: the happiness of a productive life, the respect of those around you, and the love of family and friends. We are so proud of you. Board member Barbara Peterson, please join me at the podium. I would like to present the class of 2022. They've met all of the graduation requirements set forth by the Albuquerque Public Schools, the Board of Education, and the New Mexico Public Education Department. To you, I present the class of 2022.
You have persevered and you have succeeded. We are incredibly proud of you, and to know that you're all going to go forward and do amazing things. So on behalf of the Albuquerque Public School Board of Education, I accept the 2022 graduating class of Freedom High School. Congratulations. Where do you want us?
Bianca Alexander. Donna Begay. Aaron Henderson. Raymond Ogin. Jose Palomares. Felicia Romero. Diego Russell. Jordan Smith. Graduates, please remain standing. The practice of turning the tassel indicates the shift from being a candidate to being a graduate. Congratulations to the class of 2022. You have completed your high school education and you are all ready for the world. You may turn your tassel from right to left to signify you are a high school graduate. Congratulations. Thank you for participating in our 51st graduation ceremony. Audience, please remain in your seats until the graduates have exited. Congratulations to all of you.